Hello, and welcome back to Lord of Heroes on Nyris Gaming. It's been quite a dry spell for most of the month. All of the big announcements they left till near the end of the month. But now that we've finally gotten there, there is a lot of awesome stuff to get to. So let's get into it. So first things first, the next update is going to be this Thursday, the 29th. You will now finally be able to make equipment presets, and you will unlock up to 3 of them. The second and third one will be unlocked as you ascend the hero. It's on a hero-to-hero basis. So you'll be able to save presets of equipment and easily access those equipment without having to search for them every time. You will also be able to access this in the hero selection screen on stages. Equipment will also now display who it is equipped on currently. The inventory is getting a filter system, much like the Alka Market. This will be much more effective at finding specific pieces of gear that you're looking for instead of manually scrolling through. The Alliance raid is getting its complete rework come this patch. This is why the current weekly season of raids is not ongoing. It is waiting for this update. So now there is a mechanic called Calamitous Cores. Basically what this does is there are a certain number of cores that each monster will have. Once they are broken, they will be staggered for a time. These are more vulnerable to heroes with an elemental advantage against them. And as far as I know, this does not count for elemental weakness as per Dark Lucilica. It is only the base element that matters in this regard. So there's that matter. There's the matter of skills that don't deal direct damage, do not affect Calamitous Cores. Damage dealt by assist, counterattacks, and blitz will damage them, and the level of the hero's ascension can affect the damage dealt to the monster, so I would imagine the higher the ascension, the more damage to cores. And as you can see here, the number of cores is indicated right here. Also, the battlefield and the monsters themselves will be getting a visual update. And another thing to note on this screen, you can see the monster's action gauge here, as far as I can tell. That is a nice quality of life thing to see. The staggered monster becomes unconscious and receives greater damage. There's no limit to the number of times it can be staggered. Upon staggering it, its action gauge will reset to 0. Here it is fallen over, and then you can just wail on it for, I'm not entirely certain how long. There is the stagger debuff icon. It will still gain action gauge when it is attacked while staggered, and it will not be affected by action gauge decrease abilities while it is staggered. And it will not spend its skill turn. I think that means it won't reduce its skill cooldowns while it's staggered, much like being stunned. We'll have to see if that is the case come Thursday. After certain turns, undetermined, it will recover from staggering and will be back in the battle, and it will recover its cores. And as said before, you can do this any number of times, and debuffs applied to it will disappear when it recovers. The damage and ranking system will be adjusted to accommodate all this. There will also be 4 new triumphs added to the raid section here. Achieving an S plus or higher 100 times, achieving an S plus plus or higher 100 times, and triggering stagger 650 times. We'll get to it later, but there will also be a specific event coming with this to stagger each element of raid boss 2 times for a solid amount of renown and gold. The Archives and Chronicle will get a War of the Tyrants specific section now. This will have all of the characters involved in that. Based on this, we have Light Sifri, Dark Brandon, Water Dragon Knight Helga. We do not have Ondel on here yet because he's not playable yet outside of War of the Tyrants. And there are at least potentially 3 more from where I am in the story that will be coming to playability eventually. So that would leave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are still unknown as far as how they play or when they will be playable. Upcoming alchemy banners will be Water Dragon Knight Helga. We will be getting to her later. Water Sulfy and Fire Beretta will be coming back with banners and to be purchased. And by later, I mean right now. The version of Helga from her younger years in War of the Tyrants is going to be a featured summon. She was the cover for Avalon Times this month and is not paid, which is quite wonderful. We'll be getting into her abilities later, and they are quite wonderful, and I'd say a massive buff from how she is in the story. Here's what her summon banner will look like. Same situation with the 90 summons, and she's guaranteed. So I would definitely be saving your link stones here for this. She's going to be available until December 1st, and this banner will also include Dark Brandon and Light Sifrid if you have not gotten them yet. On top of her being significantly better from her War of the Tyrants self, even though that was already good, she's going to come with relics, which we do not know details on yet, but I will cover on update day. This will also have the 5 starter heroes relics of all of their elements, and Dark Brandon and Light Sifrid, and Laphlis's 2 elements. We are finally getting the absolutely wonderful and adorable Sulfy Avalon Knight outfit. She will also be available until December 1st upon update day. One thing to note, the beret is an accessory item. It is not part of the outfit itself when you purchase the outfit for Temporal Threads. Here is the limited version. I really like the artwork on this one, and it's just a really good outfit. They've been doing really good with the Avalon Knight editions. And there are the berets that will be added for each outfit. Water Sulfy, as mentioned, is coming back for purchase for $45, amongst all of these other rewards. She's good for AoE, damage, and crowd control, but not the greatest for bosses because her primary debuff is stun, which most bosses are immune to. Fire Beretta, on the other hand, is not good for AoE, but is very good for single target damage, and has a good amount of buffs she can give to herself and allies. She is a very solid fire striker, and not a bad pickup. Weirdly, Water Dragon Knight Helga is our first summon banner that is getting the Awaiting the Eclipse $5 10 pull after it's active. All the other ones have been before so far. So that is going to be available on October 1st to October 3rd if you want a $5 10 pull on the featured summon banner. We're going to be getting Conquer the Silence on October 2nd to the 16th again. This is really good to grind out link stones from the Silent Straits, so I would recommend doing this every day. Energetic Efforts is coming back on the 29th update day to the 12th, another way to get a few extra link stones. Tome of Calamity, this is the event I was talking about, to stagger each element of Raid Boss twice. You'll be getting a total of 60,000 gold and 30,000 renown for this. I believe this is a one-time go, because you would have to go through an entire week's rotation of raid monsters, but you have from update day till the 12th to do so. So you have approximately 2 rotations to pull it off. Obelisk Ascension for the new Obelisk season from the 29th to the 2nd. Well, we've got the majority of everything done. Now all we have to do is look at Dragon Knight Helga's abilities. Here she is, Water Striker. Makes sense given her older version is a Water Striker as well, so that keeps consistent. Here are her level 1 to level 60 stats. She ends with quite a lot of attack, a little bit below average health and defense, but nothing that's completely unworkable. Now to the abilities. Her 1 fills burst gauge by 108. Attack selected enemy, 50% chance to trigger a blitz. This is pretty much identical from War of the Tyrants. The changes start happening after this. Her 2, cooldown of 4 turns, fills the burst gauge by 156. Attacks all enemies, deals up to 40% additional damage as the number of targets decrease on the field, and generates a shield based on the user's attack for both the user and the ally with the lowest health, which lasts 1 turn. In War of the Tyrants, it was just attacks all enemies, ignores defense. They probably got rid of the ignores defense because, since she is a playable character, you will be able to add pierce equipment to her, which will add defense ignoring damage anyways. On top of that, they added the lower number of targets, increasing the damage from the likes of Dark Rosanna in the Obelisk that they added last season. So this allows her AoEs to still be decently effective even if you've already cleared out most of the enemies or you only have a single target like a boss. And this gets even better on her burst, which costs 4, attacks all enemies, deals up to 100% additional damage when there are fewer targets, and also deals up to 5 times additional damage depending on maximum health of the enemy. Her burst is wonderful. It not only is it an AoE normally, but if it's only a single target like a raid boss, I would imagine is the lowest number of targets, therefore would hit that 100% additional damage. So she's still good against raid bosses, and on top of that, she's good against bosses in general because she has the max health damage, as most of the best DPSs in the game have. She is going to be standing alongside the likes of Water Walter as one of the best water DPSs in the game. Her passives are attack and fire damage, weirdly. So she gets less of a disadvantage as far as damage is concerned against fire element enemies. A little bit weird, that is not on most heroes. That is going to do it for Lord of Heroes news today. Until next time.